Welcome to EP Daily. Today on the show, we check out some brand new content for The Binding of Isaac in the Rundown.
Plus, we have a new look at the racing mode in Skylanders Superchargers.
It ain't like dusting crops, boy. We jump into the premium edition of the Star Wars Battle Pod arcade game.
Red 5, standing by.
Also coming up, Marissa and Jose become rock stars of Ooh with a new Adventure Time game. We have a new look at Fable Legends and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, bringing you the latest at everything cool every single day. And I am very lucky because we've just started the show and I've already unlocked one of the best power-ups. It's called the Rundown. The Binding of Isaac is welcoming players back to the basement. The massive new expansion known as The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth will hit Steam on October 30th, just in time for Halloween. It promises to add more than 1,000 new rooms to the game, along with a new final boss, a new mode, 120 new items to discover, and a new playable character. The developers say that all the new content combined will give fans more than 100 hours of new gameplay. The Afterbirth DLC will only be available for the most recent version of the game, The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, and there's also no word yet on when it will be available for consoles. You can watch our review of The Binding of Isaac on EPN.tv. It looks like your local movie theater still has plenty of life left in it. Variety reports that summer 2015 was the second most successful year at the box office of all time, with global ticket sales reaching $4.4 billion. That's thanks to massive hits like Jurassic World, The Avengers Age of Ultron, and Inside Out. All told, 2015 was 10% better than 2014, and the only year with better numbers was summer 2013. Keep in mind that these figures have not been adjusted for inflation. Although film attendance has been dwindling in North America, it's gone up around the world, especially in emerging markets like China. Studios have also been winning back audiences with new technologies like 3D and IMAX, which also gives them an excuse to raise ticket prices. Expect 2015's box office to get even better when a little movie called Star Wars: The Force Awakens lands in theaters this December. We couldn't have a more diverse collection of things to talk about here. We've got a little indie game that went very big, and we've got some of the biggest properties in all of IP to talk about today. Scott Jones is here joining me.
Yes.
What do you think about the DLC for The Binding of Isaac Rebirth?
I love this game. I love that it's a roguelike. I love you go into new rooms. You don't know what's going to be there. You know, whatever happened in the last game is not going to be there going forward. You got a new final boss here. You got all kinds of new items.
Yeah.
I still haven't even deduced what some of the items do in the original version of the game, and now I gotta figure out what these new items do. This is so exciting for me.
And why it works so well is because the mechanics have always been so incredibly strong, but there's also a lot of thought and love and subtext with this game and this series now,
I mean, really the story, the core story, and it kind of gets lost in all this, is a kid who is crying and he's got an over-religious mom and he's suffering, and you're sort of walking him through his recovery. And I love the sort of...
It's amazing.
Yeah, I love the different levels in there, and I love just how much fun it is, just how much gamerific kind of fun is there. And you can quote me on gamerific.
And big year for Hollywood, and a little bit expected because some of these movies are huge tentpoles.
So many of these movies are just terrible, critically terrible, and you go to the movies now and it's so unpleasant. It just is. It's
because
unpleasant.
Of the
There's
commercials.
40 minutes of commercials before I get to watch the movie, and it costs $15. It's like, I do not understand why the numbers are still so good for movies.
We need places to go, We're increasingly cocooning. We're increasingly becoming more digitally connected all the time.
Let's just go have coffee. Let's be friends.
So, okay, we can have coffee and discuss the terrible movie that we just saw that made $2.6 billion. Sure. But this year is going to be ridiculous because Spectre is still coming and Star Wars is still coming. And by the end of it, this is absolutely going to blow box office projections out of the water. This is going to be the biggest box office year by far. All right, well, we've got to move on. We've got to go back to video games. We've got Skylanders Superchargers right now.
You may have heard of a little game called Skylanders. You also may have heard of the newest game, Skylanders Superchargers. Now, we've already spoke to you guys at E3 and at Comic-Con about the latest and greatest when it comes to Skylanders Superchargers, but I'm assuming you have an update for me now.
We do. We have a big update. So we just announced at Gamescom a few weeks ago that we are bringing racing into the world of Skylanders Superchargers. So not only are you going to be able to play as a vehicle inside our campaign and story mode, we're also going to allow our players to take to the road and race on land, sea, and sky.
This is a whole new gaming mechanic in Skylanders. So are you guys bringing in a whole new team to work on the racing aspect of it? How does it work when I'm jumping into game? Do I have to choose between the adventure or the race, or am I going to find the race inside the adventure?
So it's a good question. There's two different ways to access the race. You can do it from your Skylanders Academy, which is again your hub in between levels, or you can pause at any time and jump into racing that way as well. Basically, our developer, Vicarious Visions, had some people who are dedicated to building a fantastic racing game, and they did an amazing job.
You know you're going to have critics out there comparing it to kart racing games that maybe we've played before. So what is the racing game really like? What kind of Skylanders toys do we need to play the racing games? Do we need to get every single supercharger car? How's that going to work?
So basically, when you buy the game, you're going to get a land-based vehicle. With that, you have access to 2 land-based racetracks, which are packed into starter pack. There's also 2 water racetracks and 2 air racetracks packed into starter pack as well. You can unlock those if you get a water vehicle or a sky vehicle. So essentially, just with that, you can access all the racing. The racing itself is very battle and combat driven, so you're going to want to be the first to the finish line, but there's all sorts of ways you can grief your opponents and slow them down by attacking them on the road.
You guys have different kinds of Skylanders too, right? Different Skylanders that have different powers. So what's going to happen if I put a Skylander with a heavier power in a vehicle to race? Am I going to kill everybody on the track?
That's a good question. So really, most of your attacks are based on the vehicle you're using, right? The drivers themselves, really they only matter if you supercharge one of your vehicles. So we have 20 new vehicles coming out, 20 new drivers. If you match a driver up with their matching vehicle, you can supercharge that vehicle, give it a few little extra powers and boosts.
Born to burn!
Very exciting Skylanders stuff. We're going to have a review very soon.
We're also going to review the Star Wars Battle Pod arcade game very soon. And you know what? There's a premium edition, which we're going to talk about after the break.
Hi, I'm Megan from the Game Developers Conference, and Star Wars is so important to me. I was 7 when Star Wars came out. I saw it at the drive-in theater with my parents, and it changed my life. A couple years after it came out, I met Darth Vader at a mall, and I got an 8x10 signed glossy, which I still have, and that is my favorite thing that I have of Star Wars. But my second favorite thing is a Han Solo action figure.
Han Solo. I'm captain of the Millennium Falcon.
One of my favorite, most embarrassing stories is the last year someone made a 3D model of me. It happens to be the same exact size as my Han Solo action figure, so they are now a couple. And the nose on my 3D model might be a little worn off from making out with Han Solo so much.
Another emotional Star Wars memory. And listen, if you enjoyed that, well, stay tuned because we're going to have more of those in the upcoming days. Right now, it's time for Jose to check in with the folks who made Star Wars Battle Pod. They have a new premium edition. Here's all the details.
Now, we have checked out Star Wars Battle Pod before, but this is the premium Star Wars Battle Pod. What makes this Battle Pod premium?
まず第一の特徴はやっぱりこの
First one is obviously the exterior. We have quality and care into this, and even parts of it are actually handmade.
Now, not only does the outside look cool too, but you guys are also doing something unique with the inside of the Battle Pod itself.
中の特徴として、まずはこのシートが
So the chair is especially special because it actually moves with the control. So if I go left, my chair also moves with it. And so it's all linked and all synced to the game for the absolute best experience of Star Wars.
Now, why did you guys decide to go ahead and make a premium version when the original version was already pretty cool itself?
世界中のスター・ウォーズファン
So this is a special version for those super hardcore Star Wars fans that want the absolute best experience. So we made it with those customers in mind to absolutely blows away any other experience.
Now, I see that this is a Rebel version of the game. Are you guys going to do anything for those who are with the dark side of the Force?
もちろん用意します。これは、反乱軍バージョン
Oh, so of course we're going to have a dark side one. This one is the Rebel version, but we're also having a Darth Vader version for the dark side users.
Well, this one's mine, so hopefully you can get yourself a Darth Vader.
Let's blow this thing and go home.
Save your pennies, Victor Lucas, because maybe one day you too will own a Star Wars BattlePod Premium Edition. And Jose Sanchez, don't you go anywhere. We're teaming you up with Marissa Roberto. The two of you are reviewing the latest Adventure Time game. It's called Adventure Time Rockstars of Ooh.
EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Asphalt 8 Airborne, which you can play on your Android or iOS device for free right now.
It's Adventure Time. That is right. Marissa and I are taking a look at Rockstars of Ooh.
I don't think that's how you do it. It's the land of ew. So it's just Rockstars of ew.
I know. Well, in my head, it's Rockstars of Ooh.
All right, listen, I want to play an Adventure Time game that doesn't disappoint me, because I feel like a lot of the Adventure Time games that we've been playing lately, especially the ones that I've been playing, have been a little bit of a letdown, because I love Adventure Time so much.
Yeah,
and jumping
I'm a
into
fan.
this one, I mean, we've played a lot of rhythm-based games before, so I mean, I feel like we're professionals. We know what we're doing when it comes to having a rhythm.
Let's just say I can play Rockman on Expert.
Oh.
On a brag.
And this one does. I mean, it has a good amount of rhythm. Does it have enough of a challenge there? Not really.
Well, there's only 6 worlds.
Yes,
Which
and
is
then
and 5 episodes within each world. So you're
Yeah.
like, okay. Usually, I get it. I know how to play a rhythm game. I understand how this works.
Perfect.
But each of the different levels is kind of like its own song.
yes.
And so you have to go through and learn how to play through the rhythm for each thing. Like somebody would be like, yeah, yeah. All right, yeah, 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 yeah. And you're like, all right, this is gonna be easy. Then you jump in other levels where you're like stabbing things, and you're like Wizard Wars level. You're just like shooting fireballs back at people.
With Fiona and Cake, that was really cool because Fiona is just slashing things in the air. So I like how, exactly. I do like how each world has its own unique mechanic. It's still the same kind of rhythm that you're doing. You're copying somebody basically, and so it's very simple. It's kind of like a Simon Says deal. It's just, I mean, there's not enough of a challenge there. So you're getting a lot of gamer score points. You're getting a lot of Game Center points for sure, because I feel like every single time I finish a level, I got something new, which is exciting. I love unlocking those things.
You got a hella A's, son.
It's true. I like getting hella A's. It's fun. But I also feel like, and I don't say this too often, I do want more of a challenge with my iOS games, especially because I just feel like there should be more to this one. I expect a lot from Cartoon Network games. I expect a lot from Adventure Time, and I want more here. It is a little bit, it's like a little bit of a taste for me. I love it, but I don't want to pay money for the amount of game that I'm getting here. Do you love Adventure Time?
I do.
Yeah.
I enjoy Adventure Time. Jason, my other camera guy who's better than Enzo, he loves it. Like, he has the Finn onesie or the Jake onesie, and he walks around in it, and I'm like, bro, it's like 95 degrees.
Yeah.
Take off the onesie. Like,
take it
sweat
off.
dripping off.
Yeah.
And he's just like, ooh.
Right.
Ooh. He loves the land of ooh and living in the ooh.
Right, but I just feel like a lot of these Adventure Time games have been a bit of a disappointment. I haven't had one in a while that I've actually really enjoyed, so...
It's tough. I think it's
Yeah.
just tough to figure out what oddity that it belongs in. You're like, is it a rhythm game? Is it an adventure game? I think like it would be an adventure game. It's Adventure Time.
It's
Make
true.
it some kind of crazy adventure.
And they've had adventure games before, but those adventure games have been disappointing. So if I'm gonna jump into this, because it is a pick up and play game, which I love, and I love that it's on the iPad for this.
Yeah.
Right? But you do need to have the headphones on. It's one of the things that you do need to pay attention to, of course. Oh, because or the characters are gonna get mad at you, and I love when they get mad at you. It's so funny. Like when BMO gets mad at you, hilarious. Love that face. I love that BMO's just hanging out with a rat in the attic.
That BMO Noir level, I skipped the tutorial because I'm like, I don't need that.
Yeah.
Couldn't figure out what the hell to do, and I'm just like, I don't know when I'm supposed to click this. Had to go back, look at the tutorial.
Yeah,
that was really the only one I couldn't figure out.
Right.
At first.
But no, I feel like you do need the tutorial for each one because they all have their own certain mechanics and timing. It's a lot of pauses before you hit. But other than that, like, I mean, Jake's really helpful with his finger on the screen and tells you when to go as well. It's pretty easy. I feel like people of all ages would love something like this. Just for an Adventure Time fan like myself, I wanted more, especially for the price tag. Jose, what are you scoring Adventure Time? What is it? Rockstars of
Ooh! I'm giving this game 5 out of 10.
Holy smokes. Okay, it's getting a 6 from me.
Nice. Holy smokes, it's just 1 point lower.
I know, but it just feels like really
holy
low.
it's so low. I'm giving it a 6.
Well, it's a 6. It's a 6.
I thought you were gonna go like 9.
No.
Great job, you guys. I love seeing you two together. We should create a new city called San Vancouver or something. Stick around. Marissa is back. After the break, we're taking a look at Fable Legends and its new free-to-play mechanics.
Now we're on an adventure.
Welcome back to EP Daily. You know, when I'm not here, they sing songs about me as if I was a legend. Actually, I don't think they do that, but in the new video game Fable Legends, for sure there's got to be some singing. Here's Marissa with all the information on the game.
Let me tell you a story of a world of great beauty.
When I hear a game like Fable has gone free to play, it gets me a little concerned, but David is here to ease my worries. So let's talk about Fable Legends and why maybe free to play is going to work for this one.
Well, we want to do something really different with the new Fable game, right? We always want to be innovative. We want to try new things, whether in the past that was a dog or ruling a kingdom. This time, we're going to give a different kind of experience. The 4v1 gameplay in Fable Legends is something that we've never really tried before and is really new. So we really thought that made the most sense for us when we decided to make this new kind of game, to make it cross-platform on Windows 10 and Xbox, to let the whole world play it and experience it for themselves, right?
All right, so with freemium games or free-to-play games, there's usually some kind of paywall that people have to hit. So I just always want to know how you guys are making money in the end of this.
Sure. We don't have any kind of paywall, right? So you can play the game as much as you want. You can enjoy all the different heroes, all the different quests and narrative. There's no fee to pay for any of that. The simplest way to express how the business model works is we have lots of different heroes for you to play. So we're going to release with more than a dozen different heroes, all of them with a different role to play, whether it's diving in the middle of melee combat or shooting from afar or magic, willpower. They also have a different voice actor with thousands of lines of voice dialogue. We're actually recording more voice dialogue in this game than we've ever done in a game before.
Now we're on an adventure.
It gives us a lot of characterization, a lot of voice, a lot of funny bits of humor for them to express through the game, but it also lets us give a diverse set of options to our players, and that's how we'll offer an option to buy for our players. So there'll be a hero rotation that's similar to players who played games like Heroes of the Storm or League of Legends. 4 heroes will be free for you to play as much as you want for about a 2-week period, and then if you fall in love with those heroes, you can have a choice of either earning them, purchasing them with the currency that you get in-game out of treasure chests and the like, or you could choose to purchase them with real-world money.
That sounds fair. I'm actually okay with that. So say I fall in love with a character like Celeste.
Yep.
What is it that I'm going to get to do with this character in particular?
So every one of the heroes has a different thing that they bring to the kind of hero team, right? Celeste is kind of this support heal character. She wants to stay a little bit back, but she can shield her friends as she plays with them, protect them from damage, and drop these healing orbs on the ground, similar to kind of the XP orbs you would have picked up in other Fable games. In Legends, you can use them to heal up your companions. Now, her role is also will get bigger. You know, she can level up, she can find all kinds of loot and different outfits and armor sets and weapons that make her different, special, and so your Celeste will be different from every other Celeste out there.
When I'm matched up with players online, what is the leveling system? Am I matched up with people that are the same level as me, or do I have maybe other people that are better that can up my level if I play with them? How does that work?
Yeah, we try to matchmake you with people approximately your level. Now, of course, you could kind of break the rules. You could always get to play with your friends, or if you choose to practice and play with AI sidekicks, that's up to you as well. But we want a fun experience no matter how you're playing for the game. So we don't want to matchmake the first-time experience against an experienced villain player who's leveled up all of his creatures and they have all their own exotic weapon stuff. It's your first time playing.
Let's talk about the villains here, because you can play with an AI villain, or you can have a friend play a villain,
or
right?
you could choose to matchmake just against some villain out there on Xbox Live.
All right, say I'm feeling more on the dark side. What kind of villains am I looking at here? What can I get without having to pay when I first jump in?
Sure. So every story has a different allotment of creatures and bandits and all the kind of things that the villain has at his disposal. Also traps and tricks and spells, collapsing gates. When you're the villain player, you go into that narrative filling the other side of the equation. Now, you remember in previous Fable games, you could go dark side. That's really how we wanted to evolve that. We wanted an experience that wasn't just play a character that sometimes stabs his wife, but don't do that, that's bad. But you still had to be kind of go on the hero's journey. You had to do the same things that a heroes did through the narrative. If you're getting the villain narrative on our side of it, you get a completely different experience. It's more like a little bit of an RTS, you know, RTS light, top down, controlling squads of creatures, trying to actually kill the heroes and undo them. At the very least, stop their completing whatever their story goals are for that quest. Now you choose, just like the heroes do, you level up your creatures, you choose which creatures you want to bring to a fight. You can eventually equip them with their own weapons and tricks so that they get better just as the heroes do.
Oh, Scott was the greatest host of EP that there ever was. Up next, we're answering a Twitter question after this.
If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to EP Daily. It is time now for the best part of every episode. It's the Twitter question of the day. And today's question comes from Zombie Theorist. He is at Zero Dom Thrust. Are pre-orders still worth making? That's basically what he's asking. Are they still worth the dollars? And he also says he loves the basement, BTW. I don't know what BTW means.
By the way, and he's talking about Vic's Basement, our podcast. Thank you very much. Are pre-orders still worth it? That really depends on the stuff that you want access to as early as possible. What we're seeing is that if you wait, you'll not only get the Game of the Year editions for less, but you get everything included in them. And some of the pre-orders are sort of retailer specific, because it's very competitive out there, but so is our desire to play these things, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of a new phenomenon. The pre-order was something that I think came around in the 90s. People could go to the game store, put a few dollars down, and then they would be guaranteed a copy on day one. I don't really play that game because I've been an insider for a long time.
We get the review builds.
So we get the review builds.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would be doing them. I don't know if I would need to, because you're right, because there will be a definitive edition.
Yeah.
Maybe you'd have to wait for it, but a year or two later.
See, I could not wait for it, and I know that about myself.
He's got the sickness.
Yeah, I would totally be in on the pre-orders for games that I absolutely love, like Batman: Arkham Knight. I would have pre-ordered that whole.
You would have pre-ordered
everything,
10 copies, just in case 9 of them gave out.
I really would have. No, and I understand, but you got to be choosy. That's the thing I will say about pre-ordering. Do your research, watch this show, and remember, if you want to ask us questions and get caught up on episodes, go to epn.tv.
Today's show is done, but we're already working on a new episode, which includes a closer look at Star Fox Zero. You're not going to want to miss it. Thanks for watching, everybody.
See you tomorrow.
The forces of Andross, an evil mad scientist guy, is really causing a lot of bad things to happen in the Lilat system. So Fox and his buddies, he has Falco Lombardi, which is one of his flight mates, and there's Slippy Toad, and Peppy Hare. And so the four of them, they're Team Star Fox, and they've been asked by General Pepper, who's kind of defending this home base of Corneria, to defend Corneria from the incoming attack and to push back those forces of Andross and save the galaxy.